Solo Leveling overtakes One Piece and Demon Slayer as the most rated anime on Crunchyroll. Solo Leveling has now surpassed One Piece to become the most popular anime on Crunchyroll. Here is the current ratings, as you can see. So yeah, Solo Leveling came out ahead and actually dethroned One Piece today on Crunchyroll's platform with the airing of this episode. If anyone at this point was in denial and saying that Solo Leveling wasn't popular, I think that this news alone really just showcases that. Now, to be fair to One Piece, it has been a while since we've gotten technically fresh content. I'm not counting the Fishman Island remaster, I'm talking about new episodes. So, it makes sense why, like, for instance, Solo Leveling would, get ahead of One Piece when there's not active new content coming out, but it still doesn't change the fact that One Piece took a long time to reach that amount of ratings, and the fact that Solo Leveling managed to reach this in just a few years, I think says enough about the overwhelming popularity that the anime has garnered for itself. If that's a good or a bad thing, we will have to see. That is, you can debate that, but the point of the matter is that Solo Leveling has continuously outdone itself and continuously made records and has showcased what it means to actually have a good, like, for instance, webcomic slash manga adaptation to an anime. And I've said this before in previous videos, in unrelated videos, not even affiliated with Solo Leveling, but I really wish a lot of series that, for instance, are webcomics, like, for instance, The Beginning After the End. You know, I made a video, like, last week talking about how the anime looks bad. I wish a lot of anime, like, you know, that, for instance, like, other webcomics that get turned into an anime, would get the same love and dedication that Solo Leveling has gotten. Because the love and appreciation I've seen week to week from this series is just, it's insane, man. It's actually insane to see, because, the art direction, to just the way the character acting is, the voice acting, it's literally amazing. Like, I wouldn't say it's the best thing I've ever seen, but for a, like I said, a webcomic to an anime adaptation, it really is something that is I guess a bar that's been raised. It is the bare minimum that I honestly think that a webcomic to anime adaptation should be like. That's my honest opinion. But anyways, with the glazing out of the way, let's talk about this episode of Solo Leveling. Let's talk about what happened and how good this really was. So first off, I want to say, man, I really cannot stand the cliffhangers in this series. Like, it is probably the most painful cliffhangers that I have experienced in anime in a good while. The only reason why I don't say Re:Zero is painful is because, obviously, I am a source reader. I have read the light novel and the web novel and stuff, so I know what's going to happen. But to be fair, I have read the novel and also the comic of Solo Leveling, so I guess the comparison really kind of falls flat there. But I guess I'm just saying, the way the anime is adapted for Solo Leveling, it really feels like the episodes are very short. Like, I feel like I start the episode, like the song starts playing and all that, and then as I'm watching the episode, eventually you have the roll credit scene, and you're just like, wait, Solo Leveling's already over? The episode's done? And you're like, are you serious? I now gotta sit down and wait another week for another episode? It sucks, man. Like, I actually hate it. I hate these cliffhangers. But to be fair, they're doing their job right, because the fact that I am left wanting more means that the episode did its job, because that's what it should do. That is what a product, an anime, not actually just an anime, but a product in general should want you to do. It should make you crave more. It should make you want to dive into the content more and explore the world or whatever, and in this case, Solo Leveling has been continuously doing that week after week, and it really just goes to show that the discussion around it really has flourished thanks to just the way the cliffhangers are done. Because it's like, one of the big things I've talked about in the past, like, months, even years ago, but like, one of the biggest aspects of any anime to reach the heights of popularity, like, for instance, stuff like this, is that you need to have weekly discussions. And the fact that Solo Leveling has had just such a good weekly format with really good cliffhangers that leave everybody discussing it, I think is what has given it so much popularity, and why so many people continue to talk about it. It really is a good show. Now, once again, I wouldn't say it's the best show I've ever seen. I wouldn't even honestly put it in my top 10. Maybe not even top 20. But it is good. And I will not deny how good it is. I won't even act like it's bad. But I will say that I just really have been enjoying the series. It's been a lot of fun talking about it. But okay, I know I said I would stop glazing, but I'm sorry. It's just when I'm having a good time with a show, I can't help myself. I really can't. But I guess let's talk about the Ant King himself, Meruem, or my bad. Oh yeah, I can't say his name. It hasn't been revealed yet. Basically the Ant King. Let's talk about you know, this character, this monster, this final boss for Season 2, and how intense he actually is. So I think in general, we could say that the character, what people like to say, has a lot of aura. Like, the Ant King's aura is pretty terrifying. But on top of that, I mean, we literally get to see this individual just tear through literally all of, like, the S-rank hunters. Like, we just see them get obliterated back to back as they fight this man. They can't even do nothing. Like, he just shatters them like they're paper mache. That's some wild stuff, dude. Like, the strength level of this Ant King is just, there's such a gap between the power. It makes you wonder if there's anyone that theoretically could stand up to this individual besides Jin Woo. Like, it really makes you wonder, which I guess this gets into the next big discussion of the episode and what it's trying to build up. So the end of the episode hints that Jin Woo, or it doesn't even hint, it showcases his shadow soldiers being there. But we see Jin Woo, he's on a skyscraper being edgy and all that, and he basically says shadow exchange. And we know what that means. He's going to jump in the fray and be there for the S-rank hunters. We're aware of this. But the thing is that this shows just how strong he's potentially become. That his abilities are so beyond regular S-class, you know, hunters now, that you can't compare them. They're like the equivalent of, like, maybe an A or B rank to him now in comparison, which already the gaps between, like, A and B to an S rank is already ridiculous in of itself. But it also makes you wonder if this is not even, like, the end of the story, just how strong is Jin Woo going to become? But also, how are the other characters within the story going to keep up? That is a big question, and obviously it makes a lot of sense why a lot of people would wonder that, because at this point in time, at least what the series is trying to paint, is that the S-rank hunters are powerful. They are very limited in number, very rare, obviously, and, you know, they are respected. They are literally like a nuke, basically. That's how strong they are. And so, when you see them getting demolished like this, and when you see Jin Woo come in, and obviously he's going to be able to put up a fight, I mean, he's our MC, it's like, how are the other characters ever going to be able to shine after that? I mean, to be fair, the title is called Solo Leveling, but obviously, there's been other characters within the story. It's not just a one-man show. We have seen that other characters do get development in time to shine. So it makes you wonder, will the series shift into a One Punch Man-like narrative or Overlord-like narrative? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. In One Punch Man, if you have only seen the bare minimum of it, Saitama obviously is OP. He destroys everything basically in one punch. Well, that's why the title's One Punch Man. And because of how strong he is, most of the time the narrative, or the POV, focuses on the other characters, like Tatsumaki, for example, or Genos. It focuses on them, what they're doing, and how they fight opponents. And then eventually Saitama does come in to kind of wrap up the arc, or the villain, or whatever that people are unaware of. And it's pretty cool the way it's done. It's very smart writing, and it's a narrative that is able to keep the character relevant and interesting and strong, but also tell a story with the side characters to make them feel also valid and important within the writing. And then you have Overlord. Overlord obviously has a bunch of OP characters. Ainz is incredibly powerful. He's basically the main villain of the entire world, but we focus on the other characters as well because they're not as broken, or in this case they are a little bit different because they're not the big head honcho that should be moving everywhere all the time. So there's different ways to handle like an OP character, or how to introduce them into the story while keeping characters relevant. And so the question is how will Solo Leveling do this going forward? Because even though it's very clear what the episodes are building up, it's building up, you know, Jin Woo to face the Ant King, it does not change the fact that once it is said and done, will the characters just become irrelevant? So, yeah. Anyways, what I will say, I love this episode. It's basically nothing but a fighting episode. And I guess those that legitimately dislike Solo Leveling, if it has emotional moments or moments that are just talking, are going to be happy with this episode, because it basically is nothing but fighting. That's literally all it is. And I mean, anyone that didn't get already like Chimera Ant vibes from Hunter x Hunter for this arc. I think definitely is going to get it in this episode. I mean, the fact we have, like, the Ant King start talking and all that, and he's getting a little bit of humanity and stronger. It's just, there's a lot of similarities. There's differences, clearly, but there is similarities, and it makes a lot of sense why people would make the comparison between the Chimera Ant arc, but also this. But yeah, overall, Solo Leveling, great this week. I loved it from start to finish. I wouldn't say this is the best episode of Season 2 thus far. Obviously, this felt more of a build-up episode, despite obviously a lot of action, because next week we'll finally get into the main fight, Jin Woo versus this Ant King. So we'll see where that one goes. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Chibi out.